You're live now. Let's see. Okay. Now let's pull up over here. But all of a sudden, something's choking me up. My goodness. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to my channel, Sassy Seer Sheila. This is a magically mystical musing for Monday, January the 8th, 2024. And I'm trying to pull you guys up so I can, there we go. Yeah, my tablet has finally completely died and I won't be able to do that anymore. So I have to pull you up on my phone. Okay, so first thing this morning, I can't even with the synchronicities that keep happening with different things. I mean, I've shared over the last couple of days that Lisa and I are watching Earth Final Conflict, which is a Gene Roddenberry series that was apparently on a different timeline than I was, because I am a Trekkie from way back, and Andromeda and Earth Final Conflict were not in my timeline. I'm the gal that was so excited when Sci-Fi Channel first came out, watched every sci-fi series known to man, and those did not exist in my timeline. I highly recommend that you find where in your area you can find this, and you can find it for free in different areas. So Lisa and I started watching it on Amazon Prime. Now I'm speaking about Earth Final Conflict and Andromeda. But all of a sudden, in the middle of watching it, they started wanting to charge for it. So I started searching, and you can find it on Tubi, something called Tubi.com. And it is free. You do got to suffer through some commercials, but it's not too bad. We had to do that on Prime too. Um, the amount of what I'm going to call disclosure that is contained within this program, I just I just can't even. And it has affected me in ways that I still don't fully understand. And what I mean by that, all of me, there'll be things that are said, things that are done, and all of me knows what is being said is so. In ways that I can't even describe, because I know that I'm part of, or was at one point, or will be at, things are so interesting. I posted something I came across, I believe I did, on my page this morning. I hope it's there, about the multidimensional aspects of past lives being really concurrent. This is a huge puzzle piece. I've always felt as though, well, if we are all one being and singular fractals all at the same time, then multidimensionality absolutely logically would follow. I had always suspected that if there is only now, and this point of awareness is choosing this physical vessel in this moment of now, then all of the things that we would term past lives and future lives are actually happening concurrently. I know if you're not used to thinking in those sorts of terms, it can be a little mind-boggling. However, for me, there can be no other way to look at this, right? And so I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's called Earth Final Conflict. It is a Gene Roddenberry series, which he was the creator of Star Trek and the original series, the Deep Space Nine, all of those things, Next Generation. Yes, it's older. It started in like 1997, I want to say, and probably finished around 2001, 2002. And wow, the stuff in there. I was, and the reason I brought it up again this morning, I saw, as a matter of fact, I think it was Lori Cobb that posted this on her page, something about synthetic meat. And that is contained in there. And, I've been rereading Stranger in a Strange Land because it's been probably 35, 40 years since I read this the last time. And I've read it twice in my life, the first time at 19. And I had totally forgotten that they talk about synthetic food in this as well. Okay. Robert A. Heinlein wrote this in 1961, the year of my birth. So this is 62 years old. And he was talking about synthetic meat then, right? About how it was printed, so to speak, right? And how, there are beings in this book who are saying, well, I won't eat that. I'll settle for, I'd rather have this over here, right? And in the Earth Final Conflict, they talk about genetically engineered coffee beans and things like this, right? Way back then, right? So I don't know. I had to share that with you. I cannot recommend it enough. Um, I I did say on Saturday, I'm going to say it again today. I did finish volume 2, and all of these are up now. I will be beginning volume 3 today, which is called Becoming. And as I record those will appear on the channel. Now, the plan was to re-upload the Joshua channelings, but in almost every video that I recorded as I was reading this, I said, welcome to Corona Rising. And seeing how that channel is no more, and, never know when that word's gonna throw people off again, which is hard for me with my last name being Corona. Uh, I'm going to reread this. I'm going to re-record this. So it will be on the channel in increments as I can get it recorded, and it will also appear on New Light Streaming Love YouTube channel as well. It will probably be over there in increments rather than all at once, like I was hoping to do over here on Sassy Seer Sheila. So, um, I can't, I'm gonna see, we'll see. Will this be the fourth morning in a row that the same card comes out? We'll see, huh? Obviously, if you've missed the last couple of lives that I've done, then you won't be aware that uh, all 3 days that I had done, it came out the same card. came out, and it was all about allowing. For me, it was card number 24. Numerologically, that's a 6, and it was resplendent with grace. And oh, and it's, to me, that was all about, oh, oh, interesting. We got card number 17 today, the human gift, which, if you were present, then you will know that it's sort of the same sort of energy to me. It looks as though there's an allowance being asked, an allowing being asked here, right? Oh, a surrender. That's the word I just heard. Being asked, which I am still working on surrendering to whatever presents itself, right? This is a, and I know part of the programming and conditioning that has been a part of a huge part of my life, stems from a lot of traumatic, you know, and which I'm sure a lot of us have, right? It's kind of hard when you've been abused a lot, right? To allow, to surrender. When I was first being given the messages that I had to surrender, I'm like, hell no, I'm not surrendering. What's wrong with you? Because, my definition of surrender meant giving up control. And it's been a tough road for me to actually get in control, right? But it's a different sort of surrender. I now understand for myself. This is a surrendering to myself, a relaxing into myself. Let's see what the actual book has to say. This is The Rumi Oracle by Elena Fairchild. One of my most favorite, well, it is my favorite deck, actually. And this is card number 17, which numerologically is an 8. And for me, the 8 is the upward facing infinity symbol. It's all about manifestation. It's all about materialization as well. But for me, I see it as a moving up into the higher realm, and taking information and bringing it back down into my physicality, and working with it and experimenting with different things, and what will work for me and what won't work for me, right? And then going back up and seeing how things are. And that's the way I envision the 8. Now, it's going to be different for each being. Don't take anything anyone says to you for gospel. That's something I highly recommend. You have to pull it in, let it rumble around a little bit, see how you feel about it. Become your own scientist. Experiment with things. Allow yourself to, that's what I've been doing. Allow myself to feel into things. Is this right for me? Does this work for me? Just because it works for this one over here doesn't mean it's going to work for me. That's where a lot of us, myself most of all, because I got to be honest with you, I've said before, and I will admit it to the nth. I have, in my past, been adamant with folks. Well, if it works for me, it'll work for you. You can, but that's not the truth there. I now see that in so many ways, it's not even funny. So, number 17, the human gift. Oh, heart, what is your excuse for all these blunders? Such loyalty is offered by the beloved, yet so much treason comes from you. Such kindness is offered by the beloved, yet so much defiance and resistance comes from you. Such grace is offered by the beloved, yet so much fault and failure comes from you. Such attraction is offered by the beloved with sweetness and generosity, yet such jealousy comes from you with so much doubt and suspicion. Rumi. And I feel to share with you that when I read these things, it is me speaking to me. The beloved is the higher portion of me speaking to the lower little point of awareness that only has the 62 years I've been on the planet of experience from which to draw until and unless I relax into me and stop with the treason from the higher, right? Do you bemoan your lack of faith? Do you berate yourself, blazing angel, because you have moments where you cannot bring yourself to trust in love more than you trust in your fear? Oh my God. Y'all, last night, one of the episodes of Earth Final Conflict was all about this, all about trusting or fearing. Oh my gosh. Hey, make Earth love again too. I'm so glad you could join me. I know you're going to be in and out because we've already spoken, but I'm so glad you were here today. Do you lament and worry that you could or should be living in greater surrender? And yet, when is light more precious than when it arises from darkness? When is trust more admirable than when it involves an uncertain yet bold leap of faith? Oh, human angel, your path is perfection in the divine sense, not in some artificial absence of struggle, but in the wrestling of darkness and light that ignites the fire within your perfect heart. So rise up now from your doubts and admonishments, and let your human self be loved. Even for all the doubt, you are still a cherished one of the great beloved and will always shall be. You know, that's a very real thing there. I feel like it is me who distrusts me. And why is that? Again, that programming and conditioning, right? I feel as though most beings on this planet, because it starts when we're little. No, you can't wear your bunny slippers to school. And instead of allowing to wear the bunny slippers and figure it out for oneself, right? At least that's been my experience. Now, it may not be yours necessarily, but I invite everyone to feel into those things for themselves and see that that is where it comes from, right? I had the same message yesterday and today. Oh, okay. Interesting. Um, be kind to your heart. You may believe it to be weary from doubt and distrust, so much heartbreak and so many agonies, yet still it beats. Yeah, I've been asked by the universe, but did you die? Many times. And still it persists with unquestioning allegiance to life. What a grand heart it is, this sacred heart of yours. How can it be worthy of anything other than tenderness, gratitude, acknowledgement, and appreciation? Do not plague your heart with falsehoods and expectations of some disembodied perfection. The perfection of your heart is that it loves still, even if you try to stop it with some notion of self protection from future hurt through doubt or fear. Still, it loves. It is perfection that it hopes even after despair, that it holds compassion even after experiences of fear. So then, what is there left to do but breathe the grandest sigh of relief and allow yourself the essential luxury of peace within? So then everything is all right, even if at some moments it seems not to be. Still, your heart beats in honor of life. The heart can be nurtured and coaxed into gentle acceptance of all that is, and the divine sight will become available to you. Yes, sacred sight is what is behind this oracle for you now, beloved. You are meant to be witnessing something important, something that will make the presence of the divine in your affairs more real to you. It will be something you can come to count on at all times, and in that, gain greater peace and the realization that, yes, it is safe to trust and surrender. Indeed, it is the only safe, sane, and sensible way to live. It is also the most fun way to live. And boy, I can attest to that. It's been a difficult one to get to that point for me personally, but I really feel that I won't say I've totally arrived there, because sometimes, I find the same sort of situation hiding out around the corner, dressed a little differently, colored a little differently, but it's the same sort of trauma that I haven't fully eradicated yet, right? But with each allowing, thank you very much, with each allowing, it gets easier and easier for me. And you are allowed to live this way if you so choose. It is not shirking your duty as a responsible adult. It is not deluding yourself and turning away from the real world. Rather, surrender is placing responsibility where it is best placed, firmly in the hands of that part of you wise enough to know the great beloved is wiser still, and that your life unfolds according to the great beloved's grace. And that right there is what I have had the most trouble with, because I was used to trying to control every little outcome, right? I master controller over here, let me just say, and codependent kind of controlling situation as well, right? Instead of seeing, sensing, and feeling that, hey, this wouldn't be happening over here if there wasn't something for me to gain, something for me to see, something for me to feel into, something for me to know and work through all the way through. And now it's become much easier for me to simply ask myself these questions. And anytime that anything gets really heavy or really difficult to move or maneuver through, this too shall pass, is exactly where I go these days, because it actually really will. For me, anyway, it certainly has shown to be true. Astro Gardens, I know a great song that works with surrender. In fact, the name, Gotta Love, that's the name, Gotta Love Cheap Trick. Oh, well, I'll go and check that out. Astro Gardens, which is Andrew. And, y'all keep a lookout. Andrew and I are going to be doing some stuff coming up. Um, so, so for now, take comfort in this oracle. Just for a moment, let your heart be honored and loved by you. And imagine that you can crack open a window in the dustiest chamber of your own heart temple to let the light of the divine stream in. You may see the angel reaching to assist you. You may receive the gift of understanding, insight, and revelation. You may feel peace, or you may finally allow your heart to break once more, to shed those old grievances and be free and fresh to live and love again. Or you may quietly realize you're human. You are light and dark, of heaven and earth. What a perfect blend you are of all that can possibly be. You are an extraordinary living divine experiment in the making. I'm sorry, I can't even with the synchronicities. Like I said, experiment with yourself, try things, look into the truth of who you are, which is why I'm so glad Andrew's here. Go to oraclereport.com, order the nominal fee charts that he has. Your natal chart is a snapshot of the energetics that you chose to birth into this realm and carry within you to move through this portion of your experiment, right? So, what a perfect blend of you are and of all that can possibly be. You are an extraordinary living divine experiment in the making, and you are sacred, cherished, and loved by the great beloved. So do not fear your fear, but do doubt your doubt with compassion. Let it be and let it go. You are human after all, and your journey is beyond description. Just remember, if you are ever in need of the great beloved, there is a place where sacred tryst is always available to you in the temple of your heart, with the window cracked open so that doubt can fly out and love can breathe freely. As I was reading that, and I almost got choked up because I was shown the end of the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie, where she is realizing that what she's had is an experience, and all of the characters show up in the mirror and say, and if you need us, we'll be here. Oh, because that's true. That is absolutely true. This oracle comes with special guidance for you. You are, or soon will be, seeing with greater clarity and insight a situation that has been obscured to you in the past. And I hope that's the truth for me, because part of it is what to do next. Because honestly, I'm just doing this right here because it's what I have been doing. But honestly, I'm not quite sure what's next for me for this channel. I've been, mulling that around. What am I to do? Because I do know that this is all so individuated that, anything I say may or may not work for you. And Asher Gordon said, have I mentioned to you that whenever I take part in a tarot reading, songs come out? Oh, I'm aware. I'm very aware, and I'm a very appreciative of that, Andrew. And don't think for one second that as soon as this is over, I don't go to YouTube and look for that song with the lyrics and have a listen, because I do know that that's the case. And it's Okay, so everybody, there are 5 of you here from what I can see right now. And this is the way I see this for myself, and I always have, and I will forever. If you are here, if you were drawn here, there's a reason. There's a reason I do this. I do this for myself. If we meet, if we are drawn to each other, there's reasons. Something for you, something for me. This is the way I have experienced the universe as I have opened myself to really taking it in. This is the way I feel it's actually meant to be. We all get kind of confused by that. I know I've said many, many times, I know because I feel so drawn to some of you out there, and some of you run whenever I try to let you know that, because it's a bit intense, and I get that, right? But I know that there is something between us. I don't know what it is. I knew that that was happening with myself and Crystal Hemphill from Journey Into It Now of New Light Streaming Love. I knew that to be true with Lisa. And I didn't even know I knew that with Lisa when I first met her. Um, there's a couple others that I won't even name that I have reached out to, but it's like I don't know why, but they just can't, and they're not ready or whatever, and that's cool. I understand that, because each of us come to and I still don't know what all it means, or what it means, or where it's to lead, but I know there's something reciprocal there, right? And I feel like that's what this is referring to right here. Um, you may be startled by what you perceive, so much so that you second guess yourself or chalk it up to wild imagination on your part. Boy, I've heard a lot of that. You are asked to trust in your perceptions, that when they come from the heart, although what you perceive may be darkness, there will be no judgment in it. See what is truthfully there. Be in the compassionate nature of your heart, and you shall also be shown the most graceful way to become clear and free of darkness, whether within yourself or within others and the world around you. Now, I personally have spoken a lot about that. For a while, I was calling myself a dark worker rather than a light worker, because I feel like everybody had that kind of confused. And at least for myself, uh, anything that presents itself to me in my field that I perceive as darkness or dark entities or anything like that, if it presents itself to me, that's another part of me that's coming to be loved into wholeness. I don't want to protect myself from anything. If I truly believe that there is only one, and yet singular, then anything, anyone that shows up in my field, there's something for both of us, whether it's an entity or a human being. There's something there, because it all serves. We can get our little panties in a twist and call things evil and bad if we wanna. That's our labeling that we've been given since childhood. I personally see it now. There is no good and bad, right and wrong, light and dark. That's our perception, perhaps, but it doesn't actually exist in that kind of a manner. That is my perception at that moment that I'm putting on it. Doesn't mean that it's actually that. It's the label that I chose to put on it. And how and why did I choose to put it there? Because of everything I've been programmed and conditioned all my life to think and feel and do. Oh, that's bad. Mustn't go there. Mustn't think of that. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, there are bad people and bad things and bad stuff." Okay. But it wouldn't be if thought thinks within itself, if thoughts become things, keep thinking that. Keep going in that direction, and it will certainly present itself to you in that manner. Ever since I had that last experience where a and I'm telling you, it was so frightening behind my closed eyes. I didn't dare open my eyes because I was very frightened by what I saw. This has been several years ago now, and it's not on the channel because it was a Conscious Conversation Central thing. But I had a 5 element soul retrieval ritual done by Lisa Risingberry. And I don't know, maybe it couldn't have been all that long afterwards. I had something show up in my room that behind my closed eyes was so frightening. Blood dripping from the teeth, blue skin, uh, heads around the belt, trying its damnedest to scare the crap out of me because I could hear it moving around my room. I could feel it in my room, right? And I just laid there and I said, I know you're another part of me and I love you. And it actually said to me, you don't know who I am. I am not a part of you. And it did its damnedest to scare me. Well, that is an agreement. If I had gone over into full blown fear, that was an agreement. But by keeping myself as calm as I could and emanating love, and I don't even know how long this went on for, but it was for some time. And I actually did feel this being integrate into my physicality. Now, I didn't know what it was. And when I did finally get a chance to speak to, I happened to mention it to Lisa Risingberry later. And she asked me to describe to her what I'd seen. It was a dakini. It was an earth dakini from what she saw, from what she knows. And again, how wrong would it have been for me to do a soul retrieval, 5 element soul retrieval ritual, and then turn away what showed up in my bedroom? I asked for pieces and parts of me to come back into me, which, by the way, has been my mantra since I started this. More of me into me, right? So, how goofy would it have been for me to sit there and get so afraid and protect myself from that which tried its damnedest, yes, it did, to take me over into fear? But it actually would have made no sense whatsoever to then sit there and try to make it go away. What are we thinking? Why is it that critical thinking and thinking things logically all the way through to the end has become a lost art? At least for me, it was, but at any rate, there you have it, right? And I know the fairies are just yelling for me to don't forget them and the surrender deck. Yes, 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 yes. So for me, that's uh that's kind of what this whole allowance thing has been, right? Just simply allowing. And I feel so fortunate to have Lisa Flamino Rush as my housemate. Oh, wow. Card number 17. Okay, what the hell? Oh, and today is the 8th. Okay, very interesting. This is the himself card. Okay. And I associate this with the divine masculine. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what this is alluding to exactly. I'm going to go ahead and pull the surrender deck too while we're here. Okay. See, this is what I've missed. Okay, now I get it. This is, and again, I don't do this for y'all. If you're here, it's because you're drawn here. I do this for me. So, two cards came flying out. Surrender the drama. No matter how emotionally charged the situation, remain calm and don't contribute to the drama. Staying centered will help resolve the issue more quickly. I'm sorry. I just see my story that I just told you about me and the Dakini. Oh my God. And surrender to trust was the other card. Okay. All right. No, you can't make this stuff up. Come on, people. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. Now, that's very good advice. And, Lisa and I have talked a lot about this one in particular because there have been times that she has found herself not trusting herself because I'm so confident about something, right? And that, you know, I can be confident about something for me and it not be right for you. This is exactly why you have to trust yourself. And that's the only way forward for us folks. When you feel into what's happening outside of yourself right now, with the advent of AI and the deep fakes, and this one's opinion over here trying to sway you, and this one's languaging over here trying to tell you something else. It's imperative in these moments of now, in my view, to get in there and really trust yourself. So I can't even with this anymore. This is so interesting to me. Okay, so let's see what himself has to say. Wow. Natural law. The keywords here for himself: natural law, life force, magic, shamanic power. Wow, these cards are so similar. Known as himself, this Siddha is guardian of both the hunter and the hunted, and finds no conflict in that because he understands the many necessary balances of nature. What did I just say about light and dark? Because that is a balance of nature. And a lot of people don't like that, especially light workers. We got to be compassionate for all this and that and the other. And we got to stop it. We have to stop it. And no, 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 no. We have to just allow things and get into, if you got to stop something, stop it within yourself. The living bond between all life. Himself is the breath that moves the atom that dances, and his magic is in pure being, living and loving. Ogenus Journeyman and the Master Maker have magic of doing, of the creation of things. The Bright Mother has the magic of manifesting and nurturing, but himself, he has the magic of procreation, of dancing the spark of life into being. His presence brings magic and life into a world where it is shaped and given form by Earth Mother. And I was going to wait to the end of this, but I can't. I got to stop here and say that is how we create. Our thoughts think within themselves. The energy that we give our thoughts begins to pull things into manifestation, which is at the bottom of why I say, if you think that all of what you're surveying is evil and wrong and all of that, well, of course, it's going to be evil and wrong and all of that. The challenge is to simply allow and watch how things change. The perspective for me has certainly really changed in all of that, because that is how we create. His presence brings magic and life into a world where it is shaped and given form by Earth Mother, and that's how we all create as well. He dances as the bright mother gives us birth, powering us into the world. He is the great father. At the other end of our lives, he is the one who dances the great dance of life and death. And it is himself who, when the piper plays his lonely call on the wave-swept shore at year's end, dances open the gate between the worlds so that the dead may pass beyond. It is also he who is willing to sacrifice himself when that is necessary for the sake of those whom he protects. In between those two extremes, his wild yang energy is channeled through humans to benefit tribe and family. His family is all of us, human and animal. Shamans draw upon his power, and the best healers channel a balance between his power and the bright mother's nurturing energy. Even as our hearts beat within us, we learn to mediate the life force through joyful being and action, expressing this power through healing and love and trust. We become more like himself. When himself appears in a card reading, he not only indicates that a great amount of energy is present in the reading, but he also, wow, that's true, he also strongly energizes the fairy cards around him. Everything he touches becomes more of whatever it is, more alive, more vigorous, more powerful, more awesome, or more awful. This card in a reading can indicate great vitality, victory, or triumph, confidence, and power. There is leadership and an ability to command, steadfastness and integrity, wild power held and channeled for the good of all by will. Well, I'll tell you what this is saying to me. For one thing, I have felt the commander's presence more and more and more. And I've actually interacted with a couple of folks from the Starseed Origins group of late. And I just know with all of me that, and I'm hoping to have, folks join me in a conscious conversation about this. If indeed we are all one, if indeed this is a multidimensional experience that we are actually participating because everything happens concurrently, then I am the commander at the same time. And I I gotta say that I feel his presence more and more and more within me. Libra is a masculine sign. I love my femininity, but I also feel that masculinity. And it is his confidence that I draw on. So it's kind of interesting to me that he show up today, and especially being that it's card number 17, these two cards together. Wow. Okay. Well, especially for me, these two cards are all about surrendering to trust yourself. So I don't know. I hope this has been helpful for those of you who did find this today, whether you're here live now or you will come back or you come here later and participate. I hope this has been helpful for you. Um, sure has been for me, not to mention a lot of fun too. Um, I hope that you will continue to move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you, because I got to tell you, it is for me now the only way to fly. Uh, it's the best. It doesn't mean I want to be very clear about this. It doesn't mean that I don't that I'm constantly happy and all that kind of stuff. It does not mean that in any way, shape, or form. It means that there is always more than one way to see a thing, to understand a thing, to look at a thing, to move forward with a thing. And what really for me that I had to understand was, if we just allow ourselves some time to reconsider certain things, they'll show themselves to us. And I started to allude to before. Um, again, so grateful for my housemate, Lisa Flamino Rush, as she is given, things to work on by her team. She shares them with me sometimes, and I always kind of look at those things for myself too. And one of the best things that her team shared through her for me was taking a look at how one labels things. That's an ingrained thing, because even in trying to discern what's good for me and what's not good for me, the tendency to label it this way or that comes from all the experiences I've ever had. And almost, I would say at least half of the experiences of my life were pretty damn traumatic. And so knowing that I have viewed things through the lenses of trauma for most of my life, and the lenses of programming and conditioning for most of my life, the ability to stop and say, okay, wait a minute, I just labeled that as wrong, bad, horrific, whatever. Let me take a few moments here and feel into it for a little bit longer and see what actually it is. Which lens am I viewing this through? Is it a lens of trauma? Is it a lens of past experience? Do I automatically put this person over here in this category because they're making me feel a particular sort of way? And who's doing that? Me. So I hope this has been helpful. It certainly is for me anytime I speak the words out loud to myself, which, like I've said before, and that's really all this is. Um, so until we meet again, my friends, if you're new and you are you like what you're hearing, please do subscribe. Share it if you feel so led. But again, it doesn't matter. This channel will never be monetized. Nothing I do is monetized. And because I really don't see the need for that either. Um, if the whole idea is to move us into a new situation, a new way of doing things, then somebody has to be willing to step up and do something new and different. And so, hey, I'm in a perfect position. Mwah. Until we meet again, my friends, be well.